Hello there, Vers here. Today we're going to review and test Rubens oil pastels. You've been asking me about oil pastels and I'm really happy to share this video with you. I received a full set that has all 72 colors, so we're going to test them all. The tips crushed a little bit during delivery, but they work just fine. There's a convenient swatch sheet included, so that's a really nice detail. The packaging is okay and it's not too fancy and it does the job just fine. So now we're going to swatch all 72 colors. And it took me around 15 minutes in real life, but it's only going to take you around 2 minutes. So yellow, pinks, reds were opaque and pigmented. The oil pastels themselves are very smooth, buttery and easy to work with. The blue colors are always my favorite. I use a lot of blue in my work, so I was very excited about swatching all of them. And I noticed that some shades were less opaque than others, but overall I loved them. I don't really use green shades a lot, and I'm pretty indifferent to them, and I know I'm only going to use a few of those shades, so lighter shades of green were a little less opaque, if you can see that. Browns and grays have great variety of warm and cool shades, and I really love that there are so many nuanced colors to choose from. So here are all the swatches up close. Hello there, Vers here. Today we're going to review and test Rubens oil pastels. You've been asking me about oil pastels and I'm really happy to share this video with you. I received a full set that has all 72 colors, so we're going to test them all. The tips crushed a little bit during delivery, but they work just fine. There's a convenient swatch sheet included, so that's a really nice detail. The packaging is okay and it's not too fancy and it So moving on, we're going to color this drawing today. I did all the sketching off camera because it's way more convenient for me this way, and I'm starting by coloring with lighter skin shades. I chose some pinks and some beige colors to go first, and I don't know how to explain everything that I'm doing while I'm drawing with oil pastels, so I'm just going to mention the tools that I'm going to use throughout this drawing, and I'm just going to show you my full process sped up so you could see it, my every move, everything that I do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments for details. But I think that it's really important to mention the tools that you'll need besides oil pastels and sketch and your paper and everything. You will need something to clean your oil pastels with and something to blend them with. So you could basically use your hands blending stumps. Some artists prefer to wear gloves while they work with oil pastels because those are so soft and buttery. They are so creamy and easy to kind of smear to get something to stick. So if you use, for example, lighter colors and then you decide to go in with darker colors, you have to be extra careful not to smear everything with your hands, or if you have some leftover pigment on your hands and it's darker, it could easily kind of ruin your drawing, so you have to be careful with that. And you will need some blending tools, but I'm more comfortable using my fingers, and I also sometimes use blending stumps, and I use Q-tips, but rarely, because I find that they are not the best tools to blend with, but maybe they are right for you. So if we're talking about creating some details and definition, you just need some sharp tools or tools that you will be scraping with. I use glass ink pens that I bought for obviously inks, but I found that they are more useful as some sharp scraping tools. And when you scrape off layers and you leave some texture behind with a sharp coloring pencil or just some sharp objects, you need to clean the excess oil pastels off the tools and off your hands. And if at some point your hand touches the drawing, the side of your hand or the palm of your hand while you work on the details, make sure that there is a barrier between your hand and the drawing. So like a paper towel, a piece of paper, something that prevents your hand transferring pigment all over the drawing, and you need to be careful. So what else I would recommend? Well, take more space and take a bigger canvas, because it's sometimes really hard to create intricate small details with oil pastels, and because they are bigger, like the sticks themselves are like thicker, it's harder to create small details. So just make your painting bigger. If you want to add some small details, just overall make the painting big enough so you could easily do all the small cute little details that you want to do. And that's basically it. In terms of paper, I would recommend paper that is thick enough but that does not have much texture. But you would think that maybe oil pastels need textured paper that like it can grab on, but if you want a smooth layer and if your paper has texture, you need more oil pastels. So I prefer to use thick paper with little like to no texture at all, so it's like more smooth, and I find that it blends more easily when the paper is smooth, because if there's texture, you kind of need to create thicker, more opaque layers, and it can be a little bit problematic. So yeah, I found that using paper with no texture at all is actually great. Make sure that it's thick enough, because those oil pastels, obviously they are buttery because they have some oils in them, and it can kind of leave or transfer. So yeah, and if you want to keep your drawing safe, make sure to kind of cover it up from the front side so it won't rub on other surfaces. After you finish, put it in a frame, or you could spray it with hairspray. It's it's cheaper to buy just some regular some basic hairspray, because there are specialized sprays that can help you keep your drawings in place, like for graphite, for oil pastels, for a lot of mediums there is this like specialized spray, and it can be really pricey. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want your oil pastels to stay in place, you could use hairspray. Make sure that there's like at least 20 to 30 centimeters between the stream of spray and your drawing. I'm so sorry, I don't know how much it is in inches, but like half, like I don't know. I'm so sorry. Maybe Google it. So yeah, make sure that you are spraying for far away enough, like not too close, because if it's too close, it's just gonna be like a little spot and droplets, so it needs some space to spread evenly on your drawing. Give it a good spray, and ta-da! It's not going to go anywhere because now it's fixated with the spray. So yeah, that's all of my tips basically. Some scraping tools, some blending tools, coloring pencils, any coloring pencils that you have. They should be sharp if you want to like scrape through the oil pastels and leave some details. I find that it's more convenient to do this kind of thing with lighter areas, and then you go in with darker pencils and do some definition. It's harder, of course, because of the pigment to make it vice versa. So like it's going to be much harder to do the same kind of thing on dark or black or very pigmented oil pastels, because it already like kind of has stained the paper, so it's not gonna leave anything. So light shades, light colors, dark shades, and you work from light to dark, and it makes everything much easier. I'm talking a lot, and I hope that this video is useful. I really love oil pastels because it's kind of really easy to work with. It's my medium when I don't feel like doing art. Also, sometimes in the beginning when you start working on oil pastel painting, it looks like a mess, but gradually everything comes together, you add details and definition, and it starts to look amazing. So I hope that this video will inspire you to try new stuff, to try new mediums, to experiment. You can also mix mediums, and I found that it's amazing to use with gouache painting. Actually, you could use oil pastels when you are doing gouache paintings, because sometimes you need to add just this tiny little bit of light reflections, light accents, or some really bright colors, bright highlights, and you could do this easily with oil pastels, and they look amazing and they work amazing with other mediums. So experiment, find your own technique, find your own ways of creating your paintings. This is like my basic technique that I mostly use when I work with oil pastels, but I encourage you to experiment and find your own styles with it. In terms of comparing this brand of oil pastels to others that I have used Korean Mungo. I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but I used different kinds of oil pastels, and I found that Paul Rubens oil pastels, they are on the softer side. They are definitely more buttery. They are definitely softer. And Mungo oil pastels, they are more opaque and have like this velvety kind of finish. Those are more glossy, more shiny. They are pigmented, and some colors are sheer, some colors are more opaque, and it's basically really nice to layer, kind of. And I loved that they are, in a way, if you saw those videos where they are just layered with like I don't, anyway, like they are great. They are great, and if you are a beginner and you want to try this new medium and you are not sure if you should invest money in this medium, you could grab yourself a 12 or 24 color pack of those oil pastels, try them out, and decide for yourself if you want a full 72 color set. But even if you don't have a full color set, you could do amazing stuff with 3 or 4 colors for sure, because that's how I started using oil pastels. I bought some sticks separately, and I loved it. I loved the medium, and then I decided to commit to a full set of professional oil pastels. But first you gotta try them out. Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but I firmly believe that the quality of the medium defines your experience with it. So the better the quality, the better the experience. And I could definitely say that Paul Rubens oil pastels are great. I had a lot of fun drawing with them. I had a lot of fun layering them. As you can see, I had no trouble at all when I was layering lighter, brighter colors on black and vice versa. And yeah, you should definitely try them out. So I'm not like this is it for the talking part. I hope that information in this video was useful and you found some of my tips and my technique beneficial. So here is the finished painting, and I'm showing you all of the details up close. I'm really satisfied with the result, and I absolutely adore how those black ribbons look next to this drawing. I think it finishes it nicely, adds more definition and adds more dimension. So yeah, see you in the next one. Bye!